Hello, I'm Senator Chris Marr from Spokane's 6th Legislative District, and welcome once again to my weekly update from the Washington State Capitol. As you've no doubt read, our state is facing a series of challenges, most of which relate to the state budget. Improving our state's business climate to spur our economic rebound, job retention, and job creation are among the most important issues we'll tackle during this year's legislative session. That's because it's economic activity that allows us to provide all the valued services that people need. In that spirit, I'd like to highlight the major components of the job strategy Senate leaders introduced recently. That strategy is based on the premise that it's small businesses that will generate 65% of new jobs going forward and lead us out of this economic abyss. That's why our job strategy starts with a bill that would directly encourage and reward job growth by providing a temporary tax credit for small businesses that create new jobs. For each new job created, businesses will get a break of as much as $4,000. Now, there just isn't a more direct way to encourage the creation of good family wage jobs. Secondly, our strategy expands a program we started last year that allows communities to finance needed infrastructure improvements with tax revenue generated by additional economic activity they create. It's based on the premise that growth will pay for growth. I fought last year to include Spokane in the original legislation, and the city right now is using the tool to help develop its university district. It's a smart way to dramatically improve that area of town without having to raise taxes. Our plan this year would expand this program, authorizing 6 additional communities to use this tool to bolster their economic development efforts like we already are doing in Spokane. Our job strategy also doubles the state's commitment to providing worker retraining programs for laid-off workers seeking employment in high-demand fields. Currently, the state pays for the equivalent of 6,200 full-time enrollment slots at our community colleges, but they're being overrun by students. In the last academic year, these colleges served the equivalent of 9,000 full-time students. And this academic year, the demand may pass 16,000 slots. It's no mystery why, in an economy where so many skilled workers are standing in unemployment lines. These rate training programs have job placement rates above 80%, and many of these graduates end up making more money, as much as 18% more than they did in their previous careers. That's why the budget proposal we'll introduce in a month will include funding for an additional 6,000 enrollment slots in worker retraining programs. These programs really work, and our need hasn't been greater in years. It's simply one of the best investments we can make. You'll be hearing about more of these economy-boosting endeavors in the Senate over the next coming weeks. In the meantime, I'd like to encourage you to circle February 20th on your calendar. I'll be back home in Spokane hosting a pair of town halls that day, one on the north side and one on the south side. I'll be announcing further details soon once final arrangements have been made. Until then, feel free to call the legislative hotline or send me an email to let me know what's on your mind. And I'll see you again next week for another update.